Hello, my name is Carlos Agracia, and this is a C Sharp project that I did a long time ago. I was just cleaning up the code, and this is the Windows calculator. So, just a basic calculator. Um, you don't have to hit clear, you could just hit another number and it will clear that for you. Um, and that clears the top two. So that's that. So yeah, that's it. um, so let's get into the code. The first thing I want to go over is the events. So for the events, I have button number click. If a number is clicked, I have the decimal has its own events. The symbol they all have the same events. Any one of these symbols is clicked. The CE has its own event. The C has its own event. Equals has its own event. So get into the actual code. So there won't be, basically those will be the events. And we have label value equals 0. Basically set these two defaults for the application. So the label value was the number basically passed to a label that was on. So over here there's a label, and when we press the number here and then times or something, it went up here and you saw it was like that's the label value. So basically whatever value is stored here, and then when there's another value in the text box, then we just whatever that value is, the only one we need to actually store, and until we get this value, and then we do the calculation with the two values and the symbol. So so that's basically the one we store. The symbol we gotta store, and this button equals pressed I need that to flag as a flag. I need to know when that was pressed. So right after, like for button, is a number is pressed or entered, like I showed you, it will clear and it won't append onto the number that's already there. Behaviors like that. So I have that that boolean. So the first event is the number was clicked event. So this is called if a number is clicked, and if the text box is 0, we'll clear the box because we don't want this. If we enter 9, we don't want that 0 in front of it, so we're going to clear the box and then it will take the 9. If the equals was pressed and we have some number in the text box, we want to clear the box if we're entering another number. So that's that. We can set this back to false because this would have been passed in either true or false, doesn't really matter. But if it does pass in true, we want to reset it to false. Then it's already been used for what we want it for. So now this is button, and basically what this is, it passes the as you see object, and we cast it to a button, and so yeah, then we can use that button. So whatever button was pressed, basically we can store that value in here, and then we can work with it. So, and then what this does is append whatever the text value of that button is. So again, if it was a 9, and if this is a 1, I don't know if there was a 1 there and you wanted to make 19, so you press the 1 and that's already stored, and then you press the 9 and it's going to be 19, so it's going to be this plus the 9. This is a shorthand plus equals, so what that is the text box text equals whatever the text box text has plus this new text appended onto it. So, or in terms of strings, it gets concatenated. That's a concatenation. So moving on to the next event here, we have the CE button. Basically going to set everything to the way, you know, when the defaults when the program started. We want everything set back to 0. So the label gets, you know, erased. The text box gets set back to 0. The label value will get set back to 0, and the symbol, obviously, no symbol, gets set back to nothing. So, and now this is the symbol button. So text box text cannot equal 0, and the label must equal nothing, or else don't execute this code. So that was an issue. Yeah, I just cleaned this up. So when you press an operator, obviously if we already have something in the label, right? So if we have like 5 times already waiting, and we're supposed to be giving it something to multiply it, you know, the 5 times some number, and that's what we're supposed to be putting. So if we press an operator, yeah, this must be empty. So that's one condition there. And the text box cannot equal 0. So 0. So that was causing an issue. I don't recall. I'm pretty sure I fixed this as well just now. So cannot equal 0. Okay. It cannot equal 0. So if it equals 0 and you hit a it just does nothing. Yeah. So that's pretty much. So it's not gonna be like 0 times 0 plus 0 or anything. Basically that's the first condition. So it must be a number, at least a number there, and then because that's going to be basically the start. So so there's got to be at least a number there, and then we want to check that there's not already something in the label waiting. So yep, that's basically how I did the conditionals for that. So we got button. Again, I'm just going to store button here so we can use it. Now I'm using a character for the symbol, so that's why I have the 0 here. Basically this returns a string, and a string is an array of characters, so I want the first I know that it's going to be one character. It's going to be a symbol, so just put 0 here, and then I can return that as a character. Just yeah, no issues. I don't have to cast or anything. It's a character, just returns a character. So that's what I did for that. Label value. Double parse text box text. So take the text, parse it to a double, and then store it in label value. Label value dot text equals label value plus symbol. So this is a number, and this is the symbol. So this could be a 5, this could be a plus symbol. So 5 plus is what it's gonna say, and then it's gonna show up in the label. And then text box text, we set that to 0 for the next input, because this just gets stored up in the corner. Now it's waiting for the next operand. So we got equals button. This is the button equals click event. Label text gets set to nothing because we're clicking the equals button now. So we're going to take the value that's waiting stored, and we're going to take the value that's in the text box, the new value, and we're going to make the calculation now. So we're going to just see what symbol was stored, so to find out what type of calculation we're going to do with the two numbers. And as you can see, the value we stored and the new value we're going to parse to a double that's in the text box. And then we're just going to do the calculation here. So after that's done, we want to set the label value to 0, and we want to set the symbol back to nothing, and basically just set that back, kind of reset it. And we're going to set the equals pressed to true again, because if we enter a number now, we don't want to append that onto the text that's already there, or the number value that was output as the result. So that's why this is triggered here. It's set here to true, and then when that method is called and the number event is called, and also the decimal event button is called. This is a switch statement. In case you don't know, this is what this is. Just basically a switch takes a value here and then it matches with the case here. So if this symbol equals this plus symbol, well, yeah, this symbol value equals this plus symbol, then it will run this line of code, and then it will break. So it will break out of this switch statement. So next we've got the C button. The C button event just clears the text box and adds a 0. So and sets it with a 0. Whereas the other one, it will set everything to reset. So in this case, you can have like the label value stored with whatever operator symbol for waiting for this number. So you can clear just this number if you put something you didn't want to. And yeah, so decimal button. The decimal button, so this one, yeah, I had to add this equals, button equals pressed. If this is true, then add a 0, just like a number, if a number was pressed, except the number would actually have a number. So you could just do clear the text box, and then whatever number was pressed can be entered into the text box. But in this case, if we're just pressing a decimal, and then obviously it's going to put a 0 and then a decimal, But again, if there's a value already there from the result and we press the decimal, that might give us behavior we don't want. So again, that's why it's kind of important to know if the equals was just calculated and is a result waiting in that text box. So that's why this boolean is used. And so if it was just pressed, that means there was a calculation as there was a result in the text box. So if you press a number, you probably don't want to use that result. You probably want to begin another calculation. And in this case, you're not pressing a number. If you hit a decimal, we don't want to append the decimal onto that value, that result. So basically we need the 0, and then this decimal will get appended onto the 0. So that's why this conditional here. And then we have this, which checks to see if a decimal is already contained in the text box string. So this returns a string, as you can see there, and then we use a string class to see if it contains this character, and basically it cannot contain this character, this decimal, because we can only have one. So if there's one already there, then we can't enter another one. And that's pretty much it. That's all the code. Thanks for watching.